Okay, so this video is going to be channel updates for the new year for 2026, and I'm going to be summarizing a lot of points into this concise video because I can just put everything into this one video. Okay, um, now I wanted to, in this video, I'm going to talk about my future uploading schedule for my subscribers, and just what to expect, or rather, what not to expect from this channel moving forward. And just giving you some like general updates on this platform, because a lot of these things I have to talk about them, okay, because they are very important to talk about now. And I'm going to be highlighting certain trends that annoy me. Now, first and foremost, I wanted to, as I said, right, I have a strict anti-hater and anti-troll policy on this platform, and on my channel specifically. Of course, all the other content creators can do whatever they want on their channel because it's their channel, but um, I am very strict with negative comments because or trash, troll, hater kind of comments, right? Or comments that are ignorant or are gaslighting, or that are clearly written in bad faith. You know, these kinds of comments. And the reason why is because this channel is a safe space to discuss philosophical and abstract ideas, okay, or just, things in general, right? And one thing that I will not tolerate, because we can't have these kinds of conversations in daily life, right? Most people just don't take these ideas seriously, or they have different ways of thinking, and you can't have rational conversations with a lot of people in society nowadays, which is unfortunate. But I do think that these things need to be that essentially there needs to be a safe space to discuss these kinds of topics, okay? And society just doesn't care about these things, right? Which is why in my opinion this society is getting worse. But that's just one small reason behind it, right? But as you guys know, I made a video on the deteriorating state of society, right? And for those who don't know or haven't heard that video, go back and listen to it, okay? If you are interested. But I this links into my next point, because I don't know why this is happening, but I have noticed a massive increase in ignorant, gaslighting, um, uh, troll comments, comments that don't respond to anything in the video, or are just left underneath one video to provoke the individual in question. Um, Comments that are and those comments are usually left underneath one video, and comments that don't where the commenter does not respond, so they leave these comments and they don't respond whenever you challenge them or whenever you ask them a question, which just shows that they're not serious, they're troll comments, right? They don't even say anything. I don't know where this is coming from again. And there's also a lot of there's an increase in people that try to play mind games, people you know just writing garbage comments underneath my channel. As I said, I don't know why this is going on. I don't know if this has anything to do with the way that society is going more generally, but this platform is getting worse, and that's one of the main reasons. And another reason why this platform is getting worse is because of YouTube itself. YouTube can take down your video for something quite minor or something irrelevant, right? Whereas there are a lot of worse things that go on, like a lot of advertisements, as I've said. Like there's a lot of trash advertisements on this platform that don't get dealt with, or videos that are shouldn't be, that violate YouTube's community guidelines, that don't get reported at all, or YouTube doesn't deal with them, or the AI doesn't deal with them. Now, I don't know why this is. I don't know what's going on. Of course, I am concerned about it, and I hope that it gets sorted out. But I, as I have said, or maybe not in this video, I'm not too sure. But regardless, I don't know if I've said this or not, but these things need to be discussed, and they need to be talked about. But I think for me, I don't like to invest in a platform, right? I'm not talking about my subscribers here and people that engage with the video ideas in good faith, and people that are here to engage with with the content. I'm not talking about those kinds of people, right? I'm just talking about this platform as a whole. I don't like to make content on a platform that is, that has these kinds of conditions, because it's, as I said, it's demotivating, right? When you're making content, you put so much effort into content, and you get, a ton of trash comments, You get a ton of ignorant comments. People just not engaging. And I used to think this was specific to my channel. Um, as I said, I had a massive issue with haters and trolls on this channel, especially early on, right? And especially when I would use certain terms. But I thought, oh, that's specific to my channel, um, or that is, how should we say? Yeah, so I thought that was specific to my channel, or it was something to do with the terminology I was using. So, for instance, as you guys know, in the first year or the half year that I had this channel, 2024, I used the pill term a lot. Now, I used it as a way of viewing the truth, but I didn't understand, and I wish I would have heeded Animosity's advice on this. That pill, or, sorry, shit, that term has just become, or that community has just become an echo chamber it's basically become a psych ward for people that just talk about women, and I don't want any part of that at all, right? And there are a disproportionate amount of haters, trolls, negative people, and I understood that, right? And also because I was making antinatalist content regarding practical issues, right? That people in the antinatalist community just weren't talking about, like water scarcity, antibiotic resistance, AI. They were getting very ideological, very black and white in their thinking, as I say. And if you watch my video on why society is getting worse, I talk about this. Even people in supposedly interesting spaces, or people that cover important topics, right, in society or in philosophy or whatever, they're just getting more and more ignorant, or then they're not able to see nuance, right? And they're losing. Maybe it was never like this in the first place, but they're losing. They're losing their critical thinking abilities. Okay, and I just don't want to be around that sort of environment, right? And another thing as well is, as I've said, is that rise of black and white thinking, or you're either with us or against us, which, if you guys know, is actually a pretext to fanaticism, right? Stupidity, right? So this is something that I am not gonna. I've disassociated myself from the first community last year, like at the end of last year, and I am, as I've said, I'm no longer making antinatalist content. Another reason why is because whenever I make that kind of content, I get a ton of like troll, ignorant comments, specifically because of that, and I get a ton of dislikes. I don't know why, but I mean that's not really a main reason, but it's something I wanted to talk about, right? So yeah, and as I have said, I am a standalone individual. I do not identify with any group. I do not identify with any community, or any of this nonsense, right? I simply speak the truth as I see it, and there's not a lot of truth going on, or a lot of important factors being discussed in these communities. First of all, let's talk about the antinatalist community. I ranted about these lot a while back, but whenever, like, because I occasionally tune into like posts that are being, or videos that are being released by say Mark the Antinatalist, or Life is Overrated 96, who I don't really watch, or what else? What's his name? The prison called Life, and similar communities, and they just talk about the same thing. All they is basically become an echo chamber, right? But an echo chamber in a bad way, because they're not moving forward anywhere. They just talk about the same things to try and get subs, to try and get likes, get views. But their quality is massively decreasing as a result, and I don't understand why people just keep watching that kind of content. Because, like, for instance, with me, right, I make content regarding procreational ethics, okay, and I'm talking about real practical things. And what irritates me is that these people, these commenters, these uploaders, they don't make practical content, right? They talk about the same thing over and over again, and the average person is not going to watch that kind of stuff, or take it seriously, right? Because it's you're only appealing to a specific group of people, whereas instead, if you're talking about real practical issues surrounding the world today, right, and you're laying it out for people with research, right, they kind of have to engage. Forget the trolls, but it increases the likelihood of people taking these topics seriously, or at least thinking about serious topics, right, which people don't do, right? and that's something that frustrates me. So that's part of the reason why I don't like to upload to YouTube. Now, my last reason, and arguably my most important update for the new year, is that I am massively going to be decreasing the amount of content that I am uploading to this platform. First of all, because there's not really anything else to really say. The vast majority of the messages that I wanted and felt like I kind of needed to get out there have already been done. I have, as I said, I have talked about a lot of practical issues regarding procreational ethics, regarding regarding the world today, regarding society, regarding things like politics. I mean, I could go on all day, right? But I'm not going to, because you guys understand, right? Especially my long-term subscribers. I am going to be releasing one or two videos regarding antinatalism, and then I'm going to stop talking about antinatalism for 2026 because, as I've said, everything has been said and done. Right? There's nothing else to talk about regarding these topics. Another thing as well is, I wanted to say that, as you guys know, I have a strict anti-hater and anti-troll policy on this channel, and I have done for a long time. And as I said earlier, I thought that this was just specific to my channel. I thought that these people were targeting my channel. If you guys remember, I had a series of incidents earlier this year or late last year surrounding this issue. But as I said, it's a YouTube-wide problem. People trying to gaslight, play mind games, not engaging with the content in good faith or at all, only seeing what they, parts of what they want to see, or just not engaging with the content in any way. And I wanted to say that if I'm going to expand my policy, and I'm going to make it stricter because unfortunately I have to, and I don't like to. As you guys know, I am very lenient in what I tolerate. In regarding comments, and this has nothing to. This does not affect people that are leaving comments in good faith or are engaging with the comments or the arguments in good faith. I'm not talking about you, okay? I'm specifically, and I want to reiterate this, I'm specifically talking about people that leave ignorant comments, people that leave troll comments, hateful kind of comments, abusive comments. Assumptions. People that assume in my comments. People that are not engaging with the ideas or are only seeing what they want to see and not engaging with the rest of the comments, and they're engaging in bad faith. If you are one of these people, right, I just wanted to emphasize the fact that you should not be commenting on this channel. And if I see you leaving these kinds of comments underneath my channel, not only will you be being reported and blocked, and your comment will be deleted, but it is going to be, you're not going to be allowed to comment. I'm gonna mute your comment because I've had enough of this kind of stuff. It's really frustrating to me that I have to deal with these kinds of comments, okay? And I know it's part and parcel of YouTube, but it's just getting unbearable lately. So I really wish YouTube would deal with this kind of stuff, because these kinds of comments really decrease the pleasure in making content, or the value of making content. Because imagine you put in all this effort to make videos, right? And these kinds of people just come on and write ignorant comments, and it's like there's no appreciation for the content that is made. Now, that being said, this is not most people on this channel, but it is a significant minority of people that are commenting. And the reason why you guys don't see these comments is because I crack down on them usually, but I have to make this clear, okay? Because I've really had enough of this kind of stuff. And again, as I said, there's not too much to really say, and I don't want this channel to become an echo chamber. I just don't want to attract certain people from specific communities. And it is sad what's going on in these communities. There's not a lot I can really do, but just avoid these sorts of communities, because I have had interactions with people from various communities for years, and not just that, like just people in society more generally. And I noticed that there is a decrease in critical thinking, there is a decrease in logical thinking, in analytical thinking, in nuance. These sorts of things in not just on this platform, but in society as a whole. And it's concerning to me, because we're just gonna keep slipping further as a society. And I'm not going to get into it too much, right? But yeah, all I'm going to say is that it is concerning, okay? And yeah, I'm not going to have it on my channel, because as I said, this channel is meant to be a safe space to discuss ideas, right? And if you are coming onto my channel and leaving garbage comments, you're wasting my time, you're wasting your time, and you're wasting the time and energy of the people, of my subscribers who are here to engage with the content, right? And if you are not engaging with the content, if you are leaving abusive comments to me personally, if you are trolling, just being ignorant in the comments, not engaging with the ideas, then you do not deserve to be commenting on this channel or underneath that video. You do not have the right to do that. Okay. Especially if you're not engaging with anything said in the video, or it's a personal attack, or you're trying to play mind games with me, or assume, or all this other kind of nonsense. It's not acceptable. Yeah, but I just wanted to make this video. As I said, I am going to try and release one or two more videos towards or before the start of the new year. Excuse me, before the start of the new year. However, there's not too much to talk about, and given the decreasing quality of this platform, I don't really want to be creating content or investing my time and energy onto this channel. Not onto my channel, but onto this platform. The problem is with the platform. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there, and as I said, the intensity of uploads is going to decrease a lot, and don't think that it's because of these kinds of comments or whatever. It's just because there's not a lot to really say. I mean, if anything, if these comments were supposedly the main factor, if anything, it would just inspire me to keep making content more, because certain individuals don't like me talking about certain things, and what I can't stand is people, coming onto my channel and trying to tell me what to do on my own channel and all this kind of nonsense. Like, who are you? But anyway, I'm going to leave it there, and see you guys in the next one.